Hey dudes, bit of a bit of a personal one. This one, I'll just lay it out. What you think? I guess in the last sort of 10, 15 years, I've watched something happen to blokes over 50. And man, I'm going to tell you straight, it's fucking brutal when you see it. So some guys over 50, it's not like they crash suddenly or explode. They just fade, which is tough to watch. It's not some big dramatic sort of moment. Not in a doctor's office having a realization that there's a life-threatening / ending disease. It's kind of more insidious. It's slower. It's meaner. It's cruel. I guess it's a little kind of give up, right? The little sort of challenges where you used to dominate that sort of stuff. But it's a little give up there. It's fuck it, I'll train tomorrow, or my back no good, or what's the point? I guess each tiny loss chips away at the man we used to be. One day we look in the mirror and we can't recognise the guy staring back. Hey, I might tell you something that is pretty personal, and I don't mean to tell this to trauma bond with anyone. I just met you guys, but I just think it's a bit illuminating for what we're talking about. Hopefully it gives some context. When I was 12, 12, my dad passed away at 52. Remember that number, 52. Leukemia, 52. That number, never really said this out loud because I'm 52 now, but that number's lived in my head like a millstone around my neck, like a countdown. Somewhere along the line when I was younger, I made this promise to myself. Don't know when I did, but I definitely did. It was this: when I hit 52, I'm not going out like that. I'm not fading. I'm not shrinking. It was like, this sounds stupid, but like I'm going to be fucking Superman. Well, I'm 52 now, right now. And guess what? I can't fly. I can't do the things that Superman used to do, but I'm doing okay. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Not because life's easy, not because I'm Superman, but because every day when I wake up, I know I'm living the years that, Dad never got. And I definitely absolutely refuse to waste them by slowly disappearing. He didn't want to get a disease. He wanted to be around. But I'm not going to piss it up a wall. Look, I guess getting back to us and men, wow, we're pretty complex, aren't we? Let's be honest, gents. There's a lot going on. We don't talk much about our stuff. We hide whatever pain we have behind sort of these really intricate stories. We hide our pain behind these bullshit stories. Just being realistic. Age catches up with us. I don't need to be strong anymore. But beneath all that, and I don't mean to psychoanalyze anyone. I work in aviation. I'm not a psychologist, but I've done a little bit of work on myself, tiny bit. I reckon underneath all of that stuff, let's just call it stuff, is grief. Grief for the men that we used to be. Grief for the power, the presence that we used to have. I reckon when a man's, and I'll call it physicality, drops, something breaks. He stops stepping forward. Stops leading. Put it like this: he stopped taking the space in the world that he owned. Do you know what I mean by that? I don't know if that makes any sense. Sorry, but he stops stepping into that space that he owns. He becomes smaller. The world doesn't even notice he's slipping away. He just fades from the front row of his own life. Yeah, man, life after 50 doesn't help either. We've got work, family, money, sleep, is no good for some of us. Hormones change, and recovery is tricky after 50. Most of us carry it pretty quietly, even when it's winding them down, because, us, we don't really talk, right? which I reckon that's actually changed a bit lately. The fact that I'm talking about this stuff to you guys and potentially a lot of people was not the done thing, 10, 15 years ago. So I think that is absolutely miraculous that we do that. That's awesome, especially us Aussie bloke. You know what we're like. Not really in touch with our feelings. Don't really like talking about them. We like talking about footy. We like talking about shit like that. That's really safe. But, we don't really like to look under the hood too much, do we? See what's going on. Look, I guess it's comfort. Yeah, comfort depths in, right? You hear this a lot, but we wake up in an air-conditioned house, drive an air-conditioned car, usually to an air-conditioned office if we're inside. It's the safest time known to man. Like, we live in the most comfortable period of all time, especially in this country. The couch, the chair, the excuses. Comfort feels safe, but it kills the man that was inside him. I guess men don't fade because they choose to. They fade because drifting's easy, and drifting is how a man disappears without ever making a sound. Here's a truth I learned, and it's the one thing I want every bloke to hear. You can absolutely come back. You can absolutely rebuild. You can absolutely fight again. You can turn the entire fucking thing around. You can go from fading to dangerous. I don't mean dangerous like walking around like an absolute knob. I mean from drifting to leading, from shrinking to standing tall again. And I've seen this with my own eyes. When a man decides he's not done yet, when he decides he's stepping back into his own life, man, that shockwave reverberates. When he truly owns it, like it reverberates to family, work, mate, his confidence, his purpose, all of it. I'm not trying to be 25 again. I'm not chasing ego lift. Chasing my fucking dignity, strength, capability. And here's the thing, being proud of the man that I am today, not the 25-year-old me. So yeah, bit of a heavy one. Hopefully didn't trigger anyone. Not going to apologise for the personal story. It was a share, not meant for the purposes to gaslight anyone into, oh, that's sad. I'm 52. It happened when I was 12, right? Unfortunately, I didn't get to know the man that, is my dad, but I wanted it to highlight what I think the important things in life are. And, I guess we get convinced that having enough money, having a nice car, all the stuff, but it's so fucking true, right? It's the biggest cliche of all. But what's the one thing you can never buy back is your fucking time. Like it's so obvious. I reckon people will it would land with people better because you know what we're like. We're fucking consumers. If you can put a price on every day, week, month, year, like actually commodify the thing. I think I just came up with an idea. But anyway, I digress. I do that. All right, next episode, I'm going to show you what I changed in terms of the stuff in the gym, doing exercise. What I stopped doing, I used to do some stupid stuff, really heavy. Sounds like CrossFit. Just joking. Anyone? Hey, I'll tell you a joke. How do you know someone's a CrossFitter? They tell you. Sorry, I can't hear anyone laughing, but I thought it was all right. So yeah, what I stopped doing, what I rebuilt, and how I sort of dragged myself back into the fight. Look, fading quiet, but fighting back. It's loud, powerful, and it's completely in our hands. All right, dudes. See you on the next one. See you. Bye.